Hello friends, a very good day to all of you. Today I am going to discuss the alternative measures to money supply as given by the Reserve Bank of India. In the last session, I had covered the concept of money supply and in detail I had explained its component. So after knowing the main composition of money supply, now there is a need to know how to measure the money supply. So today I will discuss the alternative measures to money supply as per the Reserve Bank of India. Now let's begin with the new topic with respect to alternative measures to money supply in India. So we come to the next logical question is how can we measure the amount of money in the economy? It certainly is not an easy or a straightforward task, but there is no one way to calculate the money supply in our economy. Instead, the Reserve Bank of India has developed four alternative measures of money supply in India. And these four alternative measures of money supply are labeled as M1, M2, M3 and M4. So these are the four measures of money supply as per the Reserve Bank of India. So now I'm going to discuss all these four alternative measures in detail one by one. Now talking about the concept of M1, which is also termed as narrow money, as this is the first major or I can say the alternative measure which is given by RBI, so it may be defined in a traditional sense and it includes all the currency notes being held by the public on any given day. It also includes all the demand deposits with all the banks in the country, both savings as well as current account deposits. And it also includes all the other deposits of banks which is kept with the RBI. So basically it includes three things. First is the currency note, second is the demand deposits, and third is the other deposits. So I had made an equation to clear the concept of M1. Here you can see M1 can be calculated with the help of C plus DD plus OD. Here you can see the equation which is used to measure the first money supply, that is M1, which is also termed as narrow money. So in the previous equation, here C represents the currency which includes paper notes and coins held by the public, whereas DD stands for demand deposits in banks and OD stands for the other deposits in RBI. The demand deposits are deposits which can be withdrawn at any time by the account holders, and the current account deposits are included in demand deposits. But saving account deposits are not included in demand deposits because certain conditions are imposed on the amount of withdrawals and number of withdrawals. Whereas other deposits, OD stands for other deposits with the RBI, which includes demand deposits of public financial institutions, demand deposits of foreign central bank, and international financial institutions like IMF, World Bank, etc. IMF stands for International Monetary Fund. So these are the composition of M1, which is termed as narrow money, as the measure of money supply. Now talking about the concept of M2, which is termed as narrow money, and it includes all the inclusion of M1, and additionally it also includes the saving deposits of the post office banks, or I can say it is an extension of M1. Thus you can see the equation here. It includes all the elements or all the components of M1 plus POSBD is equal to M2, which is a second measure of money supply. So here M1 we had already discussed, which includes your C plus DD plus OD. So here the same elements will remain there, and apart from M1 item we are supposed to add POSBD. So here POSBD denotes post office saving bank deposits, and these are the deposits which command greater public confidence in comparison to bank deposits. As in rural areas where banking facilities are absent, so post office saving banks play an important role in mobilization of rural savings. So the category M2 is prescribed as a compromise between the need of conceptual neatness and operational feasibility, and this is on the account of the fact that post office saving bank deposits are relatively less liquid than the demand deposits with bank, but more liquid than time deposits. So because of these reasons it is an extension of M1 and it includes post office saving bank deposits. Now talking about the concept of M3. M3 is a broad money concept and it consists of all currency notes held by the public, all demand deposits with the bank, all deposits of the bank with RBI, and the net time deposits of all the banks in the country. So you can see it is having remain the components of M1, and apart from that one item is added here is the net time deposits of all the banks. So the equation here we can derive as M1 plus TD is equal to M3. So M1, the main components of M1 were the currency with the public, demand deposits with all banks, and other deposits which is held with the Reserve Bank of India. So apart from the components of M1, it includes one additional component, that is time deposits. So here TD denotes time deposits. As it do not include interbank time deposits, it only includes time deposits with all the banks. Now, talking about the concept of M4, and M4 is an extended measure of M3 as aggregate monetary resource of the country, and it is the widest measure of money supply that RBI uses. It includes all the aspects of M3 and also includes the savings of the post office banks of the country. It is the least liquid measure of all of them, and it is an extension of M3. So with this statement, you can see it includes all the aspects of M3, means it includes M1 plus TD, and apart from that, one item is added here is saving of post office banks. So the equation here we can see is M3 plus TPOD is equal to M4. So the fourth alternative measure of money supply as per RBI includes all the measure of M3 along with the TPOD, and here TPOD denotes total post office deposits, which includes saving and time deposits of public with the post office, whereas here the National Saving Schemes, that is NSS, and the National Saving Certificates, that is NSC, are excluded. It do not include in this type of deposits. So you can see the complete concept of M4, which represent the extended version of your M3 and can be termed as the broad money. Now, talking about the liquidity of these measures, you can see as the RBI has given the four alternative measures of money supply. So in terms of liquidity, first measure of money supply is greater than the second measure of money supply, and second measure of money supply is greater than the third measure of money supply, and the third measure of money supply is greater than the fourth measure of money supply, and this represents the liquidity of measures. As all the above four measures represent different degrees of liquidity, with M1 is being the most liquid one and M4 is being the least liquid measure of money supply. And it must be noted that liquidity here means the ability to convert an assets into money supply quickly without the loss of value. So liquidity here means includes all those assets that can easily be convertible into cash, that can easily be convertible into money without losing its value, can be termed as liquidity. Thus, in the conclusion, it can be stated that M1 and M2 may be treated as the measures of narrow money, whereas M3 and M4 can be treated as the measure of broad money. And in practice, M1 is widely used as a measure of money supply, which is also called aggregate monetary resources of the society. And in terms of liquidity of these measures, M1 is greater than M2, is greater than M3, is greater than M4. That is, M1 is most liquid and M4 is least liquid. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day ahead.